Many of you have seen and experienced how mesmerizing Sri Lanka and its hospitality can be. But beyond this beauty, there's much more. Please allow me to share why Sri Lanka can be your next manufacturing destination. Strategic location, a strong economy with access to emerging and established markets. Post-war Sri Lanka has grown at about 5% CAGR over the last 10 years, even taking into account the last 2 or 3 challenging years. A country at the inflection point with about $4,000 per capita GDP, that is about 3 times the average of South Asia. And that is when got the policies right, and with, of course, the help of investors like you, countries typically take off. The next wave of growth is expected to be in South Asia and East Africa, and Sri Lanka is strategically located to leverage these growth opportunities. We already have 2 world-class ports, 3 international airports, and we are a transshipment hub in this region, and also becoming the epicenter in South Asia. Well, Sri Lanka, as everyone mentioned, is one of the countries that can trade freely with all the other South Asian countries and some of the East African countries. We are a skill powerhouse. We have an extremely talented and educated and trainable workforce with almost 100% literacy among the youth, 46% digital literacy, and close to about 30% computer literacy. This is by far the highest in the region. And in addition, Sri Lanka is the place to work and live. As you saw in the beginning of the presentation, we are Island of Charm, which offers something for everyone. And frequently, we've been nominated as the #1 or placed as the #1 city in South Asia in terms of the livability, and also one of the most peaceful countries in the region. Well, Sri Lanka already has a strong manufacturing hub catering to many renowned local and global brands. Today, within BOI, we cater to close to about 1,200 foreign companies. If you look at just last year, of about $1.5 billion worth of capital formation, 50% came in from existing companies expanding their manufacturing footprint. So that itself tells you the Sri Lanka's inherent advantage and how the existing investors are taking or putting in more money to invest and expand their investment capabilities. Sri Lanka's decade of growth will offer multiple sector investment opportunities for everyone listening on the call. Well, traditionally, we're known for our tea, rubber, and coconut and apparel. But if you look at this chart, Sri Lanka has much more to offer potential investor. As outlined in his manifesto by His Excellency, the President Gotabaya Rajapaksa, we have put the foundation to double the GDP over the next decade, taking into advantage the strong fundamentals I talked to you about, and also the economic tailwinds the country will experience because of the regional growth. Let me start by explaining from the top. In order to achieve this vision of doubling the GDP in the next 10 years, Sri Lanka has effectively put in or identified 6 key thrust sectors. The first one being manufacturing. The idea of here is BOI companies already account for 85% of all the exports out of the Sri Lanka. This is to build new billion-dollar verticals or expand existing verticals by an additional $1 billion by 2025. So we have selected pharma, apparel, and electronics, which I will go in much detail, given the relevance for this audience. Secondly, on the ICT, Excellency Shashikala also touched on this, how Sri Lanka is an attractive IT BPO segment. And many critical companies, just like the stock exchanges, airlines, theme parks, run on Sri Lankan software. We are looking to get to about $3 billion exports by 2025, doubling the current exports levels we see in ICT. Hospital and tourism, we were one of the fastest growing tourism markets in the region. We were close to 4.2 billion if you look at in 2018. We are looking to double that, of course, post-COVID. That also creates a lot of lucrative investment opportunities, whether it is hospitality, whether it's theme parks, whether it is hotels, where we require close to about 35,000 additional rooms to achieve our target. With the number of tourist arrivals we were seeing, this is something that we would require quite quickly. Well, the next vertical is agri and food processing. We're looking to add $3 to $5 billion of export revenue through this sector. As you know, Sri Lanka is known as the rubber capital in the world. We have about $1 billion worth of exports already through many brands, many international tire brands already rooted well in Sri Lanka. With the investments we have got close to about 800 million in the last year alone, we will add close to about another $800 million worth of exports by 2023. Well, on our way in the target of achieving $2.5 billion worth of exports by 2025. Well, given the recent policy thrust by the government to embrace organic farming, the global food manufacturers and processors would have a ample opportunity to source good quality products from Sri Lanka to cater to the rising global demand and the wellness trends. Of course, Sri Lanka has vast coastlines, and Singapore is very well known for its aquaculture. So there's an opportunity to take advantage of our fishing resources and grow aquaculture and maritime-related product exports multifold from Sri Lanka as well. Well, when you look at other services, we can be a destination of choice. And as Honorable Minister talked about, the Colombo Port City law has been implemented, placed in front of the Parliament and approved. So with the completion of the Port City legislation to support the service-related sector to take root, like whether it's trading, banking, maritime services, it would be an attractive destination just like what Dubai, Singapore, Qatar, or Labuan would be for many companies to set up regional headquarters to support South Asia, an emerging growth area. Well, as a country doubles its GDP, infrastructure like apartments, roads, rapid transit would be required to cater to an upward mobile urban population, and unprecedented opportunity for infrastructure players as well. This is beyond manufacturing. Well, all these are enabled over the strategic enablers, which about low cost, ease of doing business, and of course, low risk of doing business. Well, the Sri Lankan government is pro-development. It has taken many steps to improve the country's competitiveness and the future readiness. Many initiatives are underway to ensure the current cost competitiveness is maintained and significantly improve ease of doing business. And I'm sure many would have already experienced or hear of the big changes that we have done in the country to bring about ease of doing business. And also already a consistent tax policy has been introduced for the next 5 years. In addition, what we talked about, the much awaited Port City law has been passed, which creates a premium investment destination in Sri Lanka. Well, with all these, our objective is to double the GDP in the next 10 years. And we hope the companies who are listening to us now will take advantage of the growth opportunity and take advantage of the tailwinds that Sri Lanka can offer and start businesses much earlier. To support the talent pool, building on the strong talent pool that we have to facilitate the shift into a knowledge-based economy, the government has set in motion education reforms to align future talent pools, also to increasing the quality graduates by 3x by 2025. Well, Sri Lanka will continue to maintain its liberal investment policies, allowing 100% foreign ownership and continue to allow expatriate earnings without any hidden taxes or constraints. Now, let me go through a couple of the specific segments that might be interest you. We are looking to build a state-of-the-art dedicated farmer zone with industry-leading incentives to achieve $1 billion exports or import substitutions by 2025. Well, Sri Lanka government has taken measures to build a strong local farmer industry to cater to the country's needs and to build a new export vertical, now taking advantage of the skill, talent pools we have, and also the geographical shifts we see in the farmer manufacturing. The location that is highlighted is a state-of-the-art zone that will be built. It has already cleared its environmental clearance. It's sandwiched between a world-class port and a world-class airport, providing seamless sea-air logistics, and will be supported through a attractive investment incentive package, which will be in line or better than any other destination you could see in the region. So these tax breaks could run up to 10 years, given the strategic nature as an investment for us in this country. Well, Sri Lanka has a strong heritage in the apparel sector and has been exporting apparel since mid-1960s. We employ close to 400,000 people and supply many of the global brands in the world. Today, we import close to about $2 billion worth of fabrics into the country. We are looking to localize some of this fabric manufacturing in Eravu, and that is why we're building this state-of-the-art the manufacturing zone. Sri Lanka is considered the most ethical sourcing destination in the world. So we are looking to be one of the environmentally friendly sourcing destinations as well with the advent of this Eravu zone. Look, where green credentials, renewable power, water recycling, all would be a norm so that the companies can take advantage when sourcing from Sri Lanka and supplying into Western countries, which demands higher or greener products when trading with when importing goods. Well, another area that it's a hidden gem, I would say, is the electronics manufacturing sector in Sri Lanka. We have close to about 80 companies already taken route in Sri Lanka. You get Swiss precision at one of the lowest costs in the region. We are looking to build a world-class dedicated zone just for electronic manufacturing to take advantage of emerging technologies like graphene-based technologies. Again, Sri Lanka is one of the only sources for vein graphite in the world with highest levels of purity that the companies can take advantage of, whether it is graphite or carbon nanotube-based technologies which are coming up. So again, this provides a good market access to many of the leading markets, whether it's US, Europe, Asia, or Africa. Also a talented workforce that we have that you can easily tap into, and a supportive government incentive and tax structures to take advantage of. Well, all this growth and all your investments will hinge on making sure the cost of doing business and ease of doing business will remain. We have a competitive tax regime, one of the lowest in terms of the corporate and the individual taxes. 5 to 10 years of tax holidays will be provided for many of the businesses that we're talking about. And we have one of the lowest productivity adjusted labor costs. Our labor inflation is one of the lowest in the region, and the labor force tend to be much more loyal compared to many other investment destinations that you look into. And if you look at the JETRO survey, Sri Lanka offers one of the lowest power costs in the region. Again, for electronic manufacturing, this is a very important point to take advantage of all the factor cost reductions that you can achieve by being in Sri Lanka. Well, in terms of high ease of doing business, there's many considered efforts underway with the government to bring Sri Lanka to the top tier in terms of ease of doing business. Since coming into power about a year and a half ago, the government has taken many initiatives, whether it is legal reforms, appointing committees into looking at deregularization, a commission to digitize the entire custom process, a cabinet subcommittee to fast track investments, and under the Honorable Minister Nivad Kapral, the State Minister for Money and Capital Markets and State Enterprise Reform, a special committee has been set up to bring Sri Lanka to the top tier in terms of ease of doing business. And if you look at Port City, with the legislations that's coming in, we would be at the top 25 in terms of ease of doing business destinations, if you just take Port City as well as a location. Well, you can operate in a stable and a low business risk requirement. We have been ranked as one of the most peaceful locations in South Asia, and it is with the progressive investor-friendly laws and further policy reforms that's underway, backed by a strong democratic institution, which guarantees the investor protection by constitution, will provide a low-risk business environment to take advantage of all the attractive business opportunities. Well, in summary, with all the thrust sectors and all the enablements we are doing, we're looking to double our GDP this decade. There are 6 thrust sectors that we have identified to enable that, of which manufacturing cut across many of the sectors. And of course, for the investors on the call, we provide attractive investment opportunities and a destination that you can invest in, an alternative manufacturing destination for you to look at in South Asia or East Asia. Well, we'll help make you the most of the opportunities. As the Apex investment promotion entity, we will help you make the most of this opportunity. and provide end-to-end facilitation to help set up the businesses in the shortest possible time in Sri Lanka. Well, we are the next growth haven, and as the chairman of BOI, I would invite you to consider Sri Lanka as your next investment destination. Thank you.